For this championship game, who do you guys think is going to be the X factor on both sides? So on Golden State and then on the Warriors as well too. I mean, and on the Boston Celtics as well too. So Byron, the floor is yours.
For Warriors, I think Clay is. I think he's really going to come in like swinging because, man, he has to be hearing all the shit we're talking about him, bro, when he was off. Like, you can't tell me this man was near a phone and then see the shit we were talking about. Like, people were like, he's out. This is it. It's like the dead horse, bring him around the barn. Like, it's done. But, like, yeah, I feel like he's really going to like prove that, like, he's not like he can support the MVP. And I know he's like, I feel like they all like agree, like this is really like let Steph have the ball and like just charge us through. So I feel like he's going to be such a great support system. And we're gonna have some classic like 3-point shots from that, like some classic assists to the 3-point shot from his end. And then I feel like Brown is definitely going to be for the Celtics a big area of support. He was in the Heat. I really did not think I guess I never really listened or followed with him, but like seeing that game, I was like, wow, like this, I'm interested in him. I feel like the problem is the longer he's in the championship, the less he performs. And it shows a lot, especially when it's like half end of a quarter. And usually that's when like Warriors go really in and like that's when they drive like the point difference. But yeah, I think like Clay is going to be really great support system for Steph. And I feel like Brown and Tatum definitely like are cool with each other and collaborate each other right now. And they know like the environment that they're going to get themselves in. They have to be in sync to perform.
Interesting.
Byron picking all the Robins. That's you.
Who you got, Malachi?
On Golden State, I mean, I think that Klay Thompson is definitely going to be a factor. I think defensively is going to be more important than offensively. So I feel like all around, I think Jordan Poole is going to be the biggest X factor for Golden State. I think offensively, I mean, he should have been the most improved player this year. I mean, he's an all-star level offensive player. Um, and if he can play good enough on the defensive end to, stay in the starting lineup um, and keep himself in the game for like more minutes, that'll help Clay stay fresh. That'll help Steph stay fresh, and that'll be the best for the team. So I feel like Golden State, I'm gonna give it to Jordan Poole as the X factor on that team. I think on Boston, I like Jaylen Brown as an X factor. I mean, he is definitely necessary as like he needs to continue to perform the way that he is, and I think he will. Um, I like the fact that Golden State is a little smaller, so maybe Peyton Pritchard could start to get into the offensive rotation, and he's a really good shooter that can bring more firepower where Derek White can't. But I'm going to say that Al Horford is the biggest X factor for Boston. I think that the matchup against Al Horford and Draymond Green is crucial for us to win. Al Horford, I think, brings to the table a lot of what Draymond Green does, but he can actually score on offense. And if we can win that matchup on a consistent basis, then I think offensively and defensively, it's going to be very hard for Golden State to get a lot of momentum. So Al Horford is going to be my X factor for Boston.
Oof, damn, y'all got some heat right now. What about you? What about you, Brentford?
Man, that's a good ass question. I've been cycling through each roster, and I'm like, yo, it's like picking your favorite song all time. It's like, bro, it's maybe not that. It's exaggeration, but no, like I'm thinking for the Celtics, I think it might be Marcus Smart actually, and still thinking about my Warriors pick. So I'm just gonna say like for Marcus Smart, like he showed some real offensive power in the Heat series, and I think that was a huge game changer. And also just the juxtaposing the Celtics with him versus without him, like with the first game that he missed, like the Heat won, and it was like they were just, I don't know. Once he came back, he was scoring, he was assisting, he was defending. Like Jaylen Brown, he was doing his thing. Jason Tatum was, struggling, but he also, was getting his points. He's a bucket. Marcus Smart, I think, is going to be really key because, I already mentioned his offense. On the defensive side, he's got to guard Steph, and I think Steph is going to be hungry. We know he moves off the ball, and we know he's the best shooter of all time. And so he's going to have his hands full, and if he can deliver, then, the Warriors are going to really struggle. On the other end, I honestly, I agree with the Clay answer and the Jordan Poole answer, honestly. I honestly, I even want to say Gary Payton. If he can come back, that's another tool that would be just in it just brings another aspect that the Celtics would have to get used to, especially, he's a defensive force as well. But final answer. I'm gonna have to agree Jordan Poole. Because so far he's in the game. Offensively, he's been consistent, and yeah, like Malachi said, if he's playing defense, I think the Warriors, that'll give them the edge, honestly. Yeah,
that's very interesting because I agree with you on the Celtics side of things as well too. I think Marcus Smart, knowing that he's a little banged up as well too, and like I said, the way in which the Heat play versus the Warriors is day and night. So he's really going to get tested on the defensive end, and he's going to have to be that guy that's going to help slow down Steph Curry. Obviously, he's going to be the primary defender. They're going to try to get a lot of mismatches with the bigs as well too. We're also going to see Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum guard him as well. But I think Marcus Smart is going to be key. And I think they're going to dare him to shoot. Obviously, he's improved, and sometimes he can be a streaky shooter. But he's going to have to knock down his threes. He's not a traditional point guard. We saw a lot of times in all these series where Tatum and Brown are kind of picking and choosing, or it's a my turn, your turn, basically bringing the ball up the court, initiating the offense, getting everyone involved, getting their own bucket as well too. So he's going to have to, be that smart point guard who's getting those players involved, who's making his open threes as well too. And one thing I noticed with him, even in the first and the second round, if he gets a good matchup, in which in this case is going to be Jordan Poole, in this case be Steph Curry, you saw what he did to Drew Holiday in the post, where he was backing them down and hitting fadeaways, hitting hook shots and shit like that. So I think he's going to be the key as well too, because if we're anticipating the Warriors losing, that means Steph Curry is going to have some form of struggles as well too. So I'm going with Marcus Smart on the Boston Celtics side of things, and then on the West, I got Andrew All-Star Wiggins. I think he's going to be that guy who, his role is weird, right? He may be the most overrated All-Star. Obviously, he was only an All-Star. I'm throwing shade right now. Obviously, he's the only reason he's an All-Star. Let's be real. PG, Kawhi, and other players were kind of injured as well too, so that's why he kind of got the nod. But he's never been known. Well, we've always wanted him to be, being the number one pick, we wanted him to be that franchise player. But now we know that, kind of like the knock that Kawhi got earlier when he still had those veterans around him. The people used to call, even like a Katie used to call him a system player. And I feel like Andrew Wiggins is in the perfect environment and that perfect system where now that Clay's back, taking his X amount of shots, Jordan Poole's emerged, or asking you to go play defense, pick up that player full court as well too. So we saw what he did with Luka. Obviously, Luka, they had stats that came out today. When he kind of defended Luka, Luka still shot 50%. But then again, Luka is, if Magic Bird had Larry Bird had a baby with LeBron James without the defense, that's literally Luka Doncic right there. No one can stop him as well. And I said this earlier, I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas took the Warriors 5, 6, maybe 7 games. And I wasn't even surprised with the whole Sun situation because I saw what he did to the Clippers. and PG and Kawhi are considered the best two-way players. So I already knew he was going to get his bucket as well too. So if he can just bother Jason Tatum and Jason Brown just a little bit, that's going to be great, because obviously one of you guys said earlier, the heart and soul of that team is Draymond Green. We already know what to expect. We already know what to expect out of Jordan Poole. I think at this point in age, we know what to expect. But I think kind of like a Tyler Hero, Jordan Poole is going to give up the amount of points that he gives you as well too. So that's a cancel. And I think a lot of times with Golden State, they're kind of like before the KD era, they always, Steph is Steph, but the biggest knock on him is like when you needed those buckets the most, who was able to step up? And I think Andrew Wiggins, because he's not going to command that much attention on the offensive end, he should be able to give you good looks one-on-one, good looks, getting it out in transition, being that athletic. And I think he's gonna be that guy that they're gonna lean on as well too. Because now with Klay Thompson, like that lateral movement we were talking about when we were at Laces, right? He tore his ACL, tore his Achilles. He hasn't played in 2 years as well too. And he's been barbecue chicken lately on defense as well too. So you're not asking him no more to guard that best wing player. I mean, obviously now you're going to probably have to guard Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum a couple times as well too. But the primary defender, I think, is going to be Andrew Wiggins. So for the West, for the Warriors, I got Wiggins being the X factor. And then for the East, I got Marcus Smart as well too.